discussed, thought of, what the improvements are already in place.
Your job is to exercise the auditing skills. You don't know anything about CI, you don't know anything about PCI.
But I do, and that adds value.
Yeah. Your how should I say? What is the KPI of this business? So shall we continue? Mark, shall we continue? Mark? Okay, Rob, you raised a good point, gathering evidence. You must gather objective evidence. Whether the evidence is objective or not objective, it has to be objective. For example, the external auditor, when he came the first time, Krishnan, he wanted to audit on the stock accuracy, so he went to the store, so he chose one item, and then we found that it is not accurate. Right? And then he looked at our results. Our result says this is the accuracy. Then he go and choose the second item, third item, fourth item, fifth item. He chose a few more. So it's fortunate enough. The first one was not accurate in terms of stock accuracy, but second, third, fourth, fifth were accurate. So we were fortunate. So this is how we gather objective
Who did that?
evidence. Right?
Who did that?
The Krishnan, or our DS auditor. Third party auditor. So my point is, you need to gather objective evidence. During the audit, if you have issues or problems encountered, the auditor may need to meet and discuss with other auditors. If you have issues or problems encountered with the auditee, then you may need to discuss that. The technique that we use is we always avoid confrontation. Give an example. One of the suppliers, when I went to audit, I said, can you show me the record of this? You know what's the answer? No, we cannot show you. No, we can't show you. Of course, as a representative of Lumen, because we are qualifying you as a supplier, I have the right to ask, but I didn't go into confrontation. So I said, okay. So I asked, I used a different way to ask a question. So how do I know, as an outsider, that this process is under control? What can you show me? Now push the ball back to the person. So he has to give me something else to satisfy me. So, but if you are not tactful enough, you just go zoom right in. No, I want to see it, it's part of the exercise, otherwise you will fail. That's not how we do it. Gathering objective evidence, you can gather evidence by observation. You observe what happens and check that against written or stated procedures or standards. That will form your suspicion. Then when you go and audit, that is to confirm your suspicion. Ask for evidence. Interview. Sometimes the auditee give you what auditee says is not what is actually being practiced. We had at one time, one of our customers came and audit us, came and audit the receiving. We've got two receiving guys. One person replied that way. Halfway through, he had to go and take the forklift, so he has left. And then another person came back, and then the holding guy continued to audit that second person, but both have got different understanding of the process. Then auditor looked at me, Alex, can you please explain? Can I have a look at your work instructions? That's right, from then on, the work instruction is pasted on the board. Interview, seek examples. It is very, very important that you do some sampling. Evidence, do sampling check of the evidence. So normally, as a rule of thumb, when we ask for one evidence of this particular subject, it complies, then you ask for another evidence, it complies, then you move. First, it complies. Second, it doesn't comply, then you ask for third. Doesn't comply, then you go to big further.
Is it okay to ask if there is a particular process that we know have holes or flaws or is being worked on, etc., is it worth asking for examples of what hasn't worked?
What hasn't worked?
You know, like what is, knowing that there could be some non-conformances because there is a divergence from the actual written process, is it worth asking for those specifically to use as examples against?
Yeah, you ask examples like that as well.
It could be an example of what is working or what isn't.
Because the diversion from the written process, it could be an improvement or it could be a regression.
Yeah.
It's either way, you know. You ask for the evidence.
I think it's important to know as an auditee that, you know, if someone's asking you for a sample, then it's not always beneficial to give the sample of the one that is compliant if there are non-compliant examples.
This is the sequence of event. You gather evidence, then you can form a judgment. After you form the judgment, then you can make a decision. Okay? You cannot have, you can pre-form a judgment during the preparation of the audit, but you have to get evidence to confirm that your suspicion by having objective evidence, then you can make a judgment. With the judgment, you can make a decision.
It's going to depend on the person you're auditing. If they're, like, sometimes you can ask the person, how's this process, is it performing well? And all of a sudden you'll get, oh no, it's this wrong with it, this wrong with it, this wrong with it, this wrong with it. And you're basically saying, oh, please put that in your audit report because I need something done. And that happens.
And one of the element in our NCR also doesn't flow onto does it require audit, process audit. It doesn't say that. If you say that, if you say yes, if you have that option, yes, then you can put the NCR report number on there. Then you can activate one of the internal auditors to go audit either the system or the process or the product. Okay, audit findings categories. I won't go too much in detail, major or minor. Basically, if it is a major, which means it's a complete breakdown of the subsystems, not system, but complete breakdown of the subsystems. Okay, there are total 8 subsystems in the TS 16949. If it is a minor, which means there is a lapse of it is a discipline issue. Area of concern, low risk, identified in the area. If it is not addressed, it will become a minor. Opportunity for improvement, potential opportunity for to improve the system. Observation, you can put the observation as well. So, okay. So this is the grading. This will help you understand how you grade it. Very, very important is before you form a judgment, whether it is a major or minor, there must be a clear gap established between the objective evidence not meeting the criteria or requirements. And you must help the auditee to see that as well. If you are not able to establish the gap and you're not able to help the auditee to see that, then you will have arguments. If it is just your own opinion, it cannot be a non-conformance. Cannot be. And a non-conformance, there must be, the best is if you can associate the risk or impact, a consequence of that non-conformance to help the auditee to see that is the best. Because what the person is doing is only probably within the scope. The non-conformance may affect other processes, other departments, other subsystems that the audit team will be aware of.
Is that supposed to be minor requirement? Failure to address part of minor or major.
Major requirement.
Even if it's minor, it's also a major.
Minor. That's
Well, the minor is just part of the major requirement, whereas the major is the whole requirement.
Is the major is a complete breakdown of a subsystems. Minor is just isolated gaps in the implementation.
So that's where you are asking for more evidence. If you, the first part of the evidence you turn up is this hasn't been done on a particular project or a particular part. And you ask for some evidence from other projects or parts to see if it is completely that part of the system is broken and it's not being done at all, or there is a lapse where yes, it's been missed on one, but other similar ones have been completed.
Okay. So this is an example of NCR format that we may change to. This is consistent with all the TS certification body that recently changed the format to this format, where you have you can see very clearly the gap, what is the requirements and what is the objective evidence. So reasons why non-conformance was not classified as major. So, and then you have corrective action, root cause analysis, evidence to support your corrective action. If you're auditing one-to-one, your exit meeting is very simple. If you are auditing a supplier, then your exit meeting, you need to spend some time preparing for the exit meeting. So normally what we do is after the audit, we have audited various areas based on the audit plan. We come back and we'll tell the suppliers, give us 20 minutes or half an hour. So normally I'll write down the points that I want to point out, the good and the bad. So that's how we prepare for the closing meeting. We classify the findings. What are the findings? The good things about the company, and then the findings of any major or minor or area of concern. Then you form a conclusion from there. The auditee needs to agree what needs to know exactly what corrective actions to be taken. If the auditee is not able to know what corrective actions to be taken to address the non-conformance, you defeat the purpose. Because your main aim is to foster improvement. That's the goal of it.
But you don't propose what corrective action for them, right? You just tell them the non-conformance to the requirement. It's up to them how they want to address the non-conformance.
Once the auditee is able to see the clear gap, let's go back to this. Once the auditee is able to see the clear gap, then auditee will know it. Okay, audit report content. An audit report may consist of this. I already have questions that I needed to ask David Watterson on this procedure. I can see gaps, but I cannot write down as non-conformance because they are not non-conformance. There are a lot of OFI opportunities for improvement that they need to take. So, yeah, the KPI as well. Now, the audit is considered complete when your NCRs has been raised, if you've got any non-conformance, and you have followed that up, and the audit report is complete, it's been closed, has been addressed, has been closed, then the audit report is complete. It is the auditor's responsibility to make sure it is the corrective action is taken effectively and properly, because the reason being is, if let's say Frank does the audit this time and he raises a whole heaps of non-conformances, it's not fair for him to pass it on to someone else to close it, because that someone else will need to have to relearn what has gone through the previous history of it. You as an auditor, you know you've gone through it with the auditee, so when you close the non-conformances by verifying the corrective actions being taken, so it's a lot easier that way, instead of passing on to someone else who have to relearn what has gone through. Okay, session 5, as a summary, I've gone through with you gathering evidence, issues resolution, objective evidence, audit findings categories, grading of non-conformity, preparing NCRs, prepare for closure meeting, conduct closing meeting, prepare audit report, and completing the audit report, which is until the closure of the corrective action has been taken. So in summary, the whole audit process, you've got 6 steps. Initiating the audit, preparing the audit activities, conduct the audits, preparing audit report, completing the audit, conducting audit follow-up if there are any non-conformances being raised. Okay, so let's go distribute yourself into team of 2 and go and audit based on the procedures that have been issued to you earlier on. Half an hour each person, half an hour. Please come back at 4:10 sharp. 4:10, 10 past 4.
So we're going to reverse this process. Who's got the which? Yeah, I know. I'm working with Rob.
Yeah.
So it says
Maybe
here,
I've got the wrong
No,
bit.
that's true.
yeah, I was going to go there.